Welcome to the Chairman's Corner. We're here with Board of Commission Chairman Bill Pate. Bill, it's good to see you.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing great, doing great. Notice I'm without a sling anymore.
I noticed that, and I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I don't know if I talked about it before or not. I don't
Well,
think so.
that's all right. It's worth talking about again if we did.
I'm still excited not to be having that sling on, even though I'm still having to go to physical therapy for my shoulder. Yeah. But I'm much better, much better, much better.
We are right in the middle this week of this past week of budget hearings, budget sessions. Now, what's that all about? What's going on?
We've been through the majority of the budget yesterday. I'd say probably did 65% worth, and the others are not that in depth, so it shouldn't take that long. However, we did have some questions on some of the department budgets. So today, when we go back in session this afternoon, we've asked the supervisors of those departments to come over. So we just want to ask them the questions and how they intend to spend the dollars. I mean, after all, that's the job of a commissioner.
That's what you do.
To ask questions, and I'll make sure we're spending the money the way we should.
Being good stewards of the Wayne County taxpayers' tax dollars.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to finish that process today, and then George, the county manager, can adjust the numbers, and so we'll be able to adopt the budget. Well, we've got to have a public hearing too, right. So then we'll adopt the budget.
Okay.
Now there's one little caveat. Might as well go ahead and talk about it, and because we've already talked about it in our open sessions. With the low wealth funding for schools, we will not know until the state budget is adopted as to whether we will be part of that exemption that could possibly cost the county $4 million.
Ouch.
So what we're proposing to do, and we're considering doing, is to have an interim budget, and that will extend out about a month. And after talking to our legislative leaders, it appears that they feel confident that they'll have the budget complete and it'll be done before then. So we'll know whether we're accepted, and I'm not going into all the details of that, or not. If we're not, then we may have to look at kicking up the property tax rate to cover $2 million at least in the first year. That's actually 1.9 million.
So we're required to have a budget, but it may be amended.
The state law allows for an interim budget. You just can't set a new tax rate.
Oh, okay.
Once you set the tax rate, you can't change it
done
in that 12-month period. Okay. But I'm confident that our legislative leaders are going to come through for us, and hopefully we're not looking at a tax increase, because I preach no new taxes.
I know.
Kind of like George Bush said, no new taxes.
No new taxes.
But if you're looking at, like in the first year, $2 million as opposed to raising the taxes, much less. It's logical to do. Anyway, let's get on past that.
Okay, we're going to get past that, and if as you watch. When by the time you see this program, the budget sessions will be available on our YouTube page. You can go to waynegov.com, and in the upper right-hand corner is our YouTube channel link, and you can click on that, and you'll be able to find all the budget hearings and work sessions. And it's rather lengthy because there's a lot. It's a long process.
Yeah, it is. We were in there yesterday from 9 to 3. No, almost 4 o'clock.
Almost 4 o'clock. Yeah, from 9 in the morning till almost 4 o'clock.
Yeah, almost 4 o'clock, and we didn't finish then. And I knew we wouldn't. I went ahead and told them to order lunch because I knew we would be there.
And that was the second day. The first day back on the 22nd.
Yeah, that's right.
That's online as well.
That was the nonprofit part.
That's right.
Piece of it.
That's right.
And so we've already been through all that, and now we're going through the internal budget. Right. So that's what we're doing.
All right. Anyway, that's on our YouTube channel. But now let's get on. We've got a meeting coming up this coming Tuesday, which will be the June 6th, I believe.
June the 6th.
Okay.
Yep.
June 6th. So what are we going to be covering with this month's meeting?
First thing we're going to do, we'll have of course we'll have our the stuff that we normally do to start off with the invocation and the pledge, and approval of the minutes and the adjustment of agenda if there is any, and then public comments at 9:05. And then moving on with the appointment committee, and I understand we're going to have some appointments, so I don't know who they are yet, but I know that there's going to be an appointment committee.
Now, these are appointments that are folks that have volunteered to become part of committees or something?
Committees across the county. There are numerous ones that we have, and that's what Joe Gurley, he's the chair of that, and they'll make the recommendation to the full board, and then we'll vote on it.
And there's always positions available on
committees. They certainly are,
agencies.
And because people rotate in and off, you can only be on there for so many years, and then people move, and just all kinds of changes in their personal life, so they have to move on. But anyway.
So if anybody's interested in becoming part of a committee, to be in a decision-making position, to be able to advise commissioners as to how you feel they should go.
It's just a click on the website.
That's right. Click on the website and apply.
It's there.
All right.
Okay. After that, we got a public hearing to receive public comments on the adoption of the Wayne County Incentive Grant for a New Industry, and that's at 9:15.
Okay.
And then at 9:30, we have another public hearing. That's to receive public comments on the 2018 annual budget and capital improvement projects.
Oh boy!
So that's what we got to finish this week, and then we'll have the public hearing next week, so folks can come up and make their comments about what we've been talking about.
This is comments from the public. Anybody, any
that's right.
taxpayer, any citizen in Wayne County can come and express their opinion.
That is exactly right.
Beautiful.
After that, then we'll go to our unfinished business. We're always working hard, for economic development in Wayne County.
I know.
And the first couple of them, they involving, the first one is authorize the chairman and clerk to the board to execute an agreement regarding the construction of a shell industrial building and industrial park. Park East.
East.
I'll get it right in a minute. Park East Industrial Park.
About 70 bypass.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, okay.
And then there's another motion that goes along with that, and it's basically the same thing.
Okay.
And another one, there's a motion to authorize the chairman and clerk of the board to execute an agreement regarding the development of an industrial park. We're looking at other places
Oh, really?
all the time.
Possibly another industrial park. Mm-hmm. We have Park East, and I believe there's one in Mount Olive.
The problems what we have in Wayne County, one is lack of some infrastructure, gas or sewer. In addition to that, we've got the poorest soils that you could ever imagine.
Well,
and
you call them poor.
Well, it's poor because they won't hold a building up.
Well, okay, that is a poor soil.
Now, they make great farmland,
but
a building will sink. So you have to spend a lot of money undercutting it and bringing in good soil so that it'll hold it.
That's right, and that's how you cure that problem. You bring in good soil.
But if you can find some places that already have that or have the infrastructure, then they pique our interest, let's put it that way.
I got you. Okay, that's good news.
And matter of fact, I just go ahead and say it is the industrial park with the agreement with the Bryan Holdings for the purchase of property for an industrial park.
Okay.
And we're not going to buy we wouldn't be buying the whole park at one time. We would buy it as needed.
Oh, okay.
And we'll go into that in more detail next week.
Very good.
The other things that we've been working on for some time, and this is a problem statewide, everybody knows that our subdivisions that were built 20, 30 years ago, they're not, most of them are not part of the DOT system, so they don't get maintenance.
That's right.
I live in a neighborhood just like that. And I go out there and see where the buses turn and it's cutting into the asphalt, and sooner or later mine's going to need work on it too. But the first ones at the county, well, George came up with an idea for a special assessment, like we did with the street lights, if you remember. But this is with the roads, and you have a special assessment, and those subdivisions who have signed up, 75% of them have to sign up and be part of it, then everybody's in on it. The first ones that we're going to do is Canterbury Village and North Creek subdivisions. Right. The contract we thought was going to be in excess of $2 million to do that, but it came in at 1.5 or a little bit better than 1.5, and I think maybe a little higher than that because you got to pay the architect and them. But this will be the first time we've done that, and so we want to learn from this before we move forward.
The whole thing is, though, as you said, DOT does not repair. No. They don't treat or anything.
Well,
these subdivisions.
The problem is you have trash trucks that go in there, heavy trucks. Yeah. You have school buses that go in there all the time, and I don't care how you build a road, sooner or later you got to repair it.
You got potholes, you got cracks, you got all this stuff coming apart.
You can't put buses in there to pick up little kids, and you got potholes that you lose the bus in.
That's right.
That's the truth to that.
Yeah. So it sounds like we're getting close to an agreement here.
Yes, we are. And we've already got the agreement, and the contracts came in, so they should be getting started pretty soon on this project. Hopefully they'll have it done sometime early fall or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. Yeah.
Okay, next there's going to be an extension to the waiver for certain county fees relating to the Hurricane Matthew. We suspended some of the fees for rebuilding.
Yeah.
And rather than revisiting that every 3 months, I think we're going to go ahead and move it to, we'll have a motion on the floor to move it to June 30th, 2018.
Oh, okay.
In an effort to continue to help people recover from the storm.
Yeah, people are still having trouble with that.
You're still running into people who have not had their property fixed yet, and they need all kinds of inspection license and that kind of thing to get the work done.
So you're going to move it a year?
We'll move it to next June.
Yeah.
I think it's a wise idea by George. Of course, the rest of the board doesn't know that yet. But,
well, I'm not telling anybody.
Well, as soon as they get this, they'll know. We've got a number of budget amendments that we'll be looking at, and I'll let Miss Allison Pate talk about that on Tuesday.
Okay.
And we got to approve the pyrotechnics for their fireworks for the city of Goldsboro, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, at Berkeley Mall. At
Berkeley Mall for the 4th of July. Right.
So, by law, we have to do that,
Yeah.
and also we'll be doing one for town of Pikeville.
Oh, good. Okay.
In our new business, this is something we've been talking about. This is coming up in the General Assembly, both in the Senate and in the House, is to take the Department of Social Services statewide, regionalize them, so you really will lose local control. Now, a commissioner I heard say, we went to that district meeting up in Roanoke Rapids. He said, well, if you love that concept from mental health, then you'll love this. In other words, this is not a good idea. We're not for it. So we got a resolution against it. We feel like we need the local control. Otherwise, you will be paying for something that you have no say-so over.
That's right.
And I don't like that idea.
No.
And I personally don't like the way the mental health, when it got regionalized, I think it fell on its face. That's my opinion.
Well, I agree. I agree with that.
And then finally, Allison Pate, our finance director, she will go over our quarterly financial statements. And let's see here. Oh, we got a piece of property that we're going to sell with the city of Goldsboro. We get our half, they get half. And it's usually property that's in the city that's run down that just needs to be. It needs to be torn down.
Needs to be torn down so that somebody can take it and make
revitalize
use of it.
Revitalize the community and that kind of thing. Yeah. But shouldn't be that long of a meeting, I wouldn't think. The big thing we got our focus on is our budget. We got to get that. We got to get that done.
Got to get it done. All right.
And I hope we get the majority of it finished today.
Well, let me remind everyone, all the viewers, that the Wayne County Board of Commissioners meet the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of each month, unless there's a budget session going on.
That's right.
And you're invited to attend. It begins at 8 o'clock with a budget meeting, budget agenda, and then the regular meeting itself begins at 9 o'clock. And we're on the 4th floor of the Wayne County Courthouse, and you're invited to attend. And there's no charge.
That's right.
It's free. So hope you're able to attend. And again, it's coming up this Tuesday. That would be the 6th of the month, and I hope you're able to be there. This has been the Chairman's Corner with Board of Commission Chairman Bill Pate. Bill, thank you so much, sir.
Thanks for having me.